The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, welcome to the weekly Noyantis Usergroup meeting, although it's a day late this week. Yes, today is Tuesday, 23rd of April, 2019. Myself and John are here. Apologies, for a couple of apologies actually. One for having to cancel late last week's webinar. Do apologise for that. If truth be told, we have got an extremely busy period at the moment, and we are just firefighting, getting a few application updates out and projects that we're working on, and we need to get those out so we can then get back to focusing on the templates and so on. So apologies for that. They are nearing an end. We guesstimate another 7 days, maybe 8 or 9 days on the outside to get them to get clear of them, and then normal service will be resumed. So apologies for that. And then yesterday was a public holiday here in the UK for the Easter break, but I didn't want to cancel another webinar because I think the name would be mud. So we've just delayed it. You're all here now, which of course is nice. So we shall get going. As always, any questions, queries, and I know we've had some questions come in already on email. So any questions or queries or anything, points, feel free to raise your hands, and we'll open the mics and we'll cover the content. So while we wait for those to come in, template updates. Obviously, nothing's been released. As I said, we've been busy on some project work and some application work and so on, which is going very well. No template updates have been released, but template work has gone on because some of those are actually required for some of the work that we've been doing. So just let me close that off. So the report control template has been getting some work done to it, and that's to do with the file loading. It's not in a releasable state yet, but it's very, very, very close. So you can expect to see that very soon, and that will give you the file loading of basically a table loading, if you will, of a report control, and make it much more easier for you. And the other is, we've touched upon it a couple of times here, and it's the G security, which we took the rights to many years ago and not really done anything with, but you're going to see that get a product launch within the next few weeks. We'll cover it here prior to the product launch if anyone wants to see it. And I know but Bill's not here actually, but Bill's already actually got a license for it. He just doesn't have the product yet. But yes, it is. It doesn't do your licensing. There's very good tools already out there to handle all your product licensing, but it will do your security, and it's purposely going to obviously lend itself to plugins. The plugins, some of them being the ones in our application. So the task panel, the command bar, the shortcut bar, all those types of things, you'll be able to have close integrations with G Security directly, so it can control that type of content for you. So anyway, that's imminent. You will see that in the next few weeks. The things I've just been doing now is been an application where it's a typical setup. You set up users, you set up groups, you set up which users are in which groups, and a user can belong to more than one group as well from a security point of view. You set up security tasks, and then you can say basically what tasks a user can do or a group can do, and a user level will override a group level. We'll cover all that in weeks to come. So that's what we've been busy working on here. Okay, so questions. What have we got? First one to come in, and it's Mark. I'm just going to open the microphone up. If Mark's got a microphone. If you haven't, Mark, just let me know. Do we have a microphone?
Yeah, I have I have one.
We've got you. Yep. Okay, so you've got a glitch in the calendar. Not being able to add an event.
Right.
You add the info, click the OK, but you're not. And the focus goes to the color eclipse, but won't allow you to save. Oh, okay. Is that, did you get the import, sorry, did you import the update form from the sample application?
Right. Yeah, I did a TXA. I exported it out and then imported it in.
Okay. Does it, well, it sounds like it's checking for incomplete. Let me have a quick look. Let's open up our the sample application. Just 1 second.
Yeah, I knew it has to be something like really simple. And I remember like last year you helped me with this and we worked through it, but I lost my notes, so I just forgot what I did to fix it, what you told me to do to fix it.
Well, let's take a quick look. Oh, I do remember. I mean, that would be on one of the recordings. So
Yeah.
let's just take a quick look on here now. So the update events, normally I would on the OK do some kind of check to say if incomplete. So I'm just having a quick look.
Yeah, it's interesting because the sample app works, the demo app works.
So we have got some kind of if incomplete. Do you get any message or just a beep?
Just actually, I don't even get a beep, but
No, just
unless it's not coming through, but I don't get a message.
Sounds silly. I think we'd have to see it on your system because it sounds like the actual the import to the TXA hasn't gone correct because there's not really much in here. We calculate some other parameters, but the only thing on the OK is literally a message if you've not entered a required field, and then other things which would of course throw a message up. But again, you would get the message before cycling. So it
Right.
sounds like an issue on the import. So let's just take a look. John, can you remember the best way to get it so we can see Mark's screen? I know we can promote to a presenter, but make presenter. I think it's just make presenter. There you go. So we should get I'm gonna say you should get a prompt. Okay. Let's have a look.
So I can go ahead. I'll just show you what happens now. So we start the app up and then just go to the calendar. You can see that, okay?
Okay. Yep.
And we just go to the month, and let's say I wanted to double click and add. It's going to start at 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's just a test, and we're testing. And we just click OK, and it just gets stuck right here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I could pick another color, but
that's something that's, to me, Clarion screwed something up on the export import. I'm guessing there. Can we? Okay, let's have a look at the embeds. Let's have a look if we can blatantly see something which is out.
Let's close this. How do I close this? So let's go to embeds. How do I get rid of that little screen there?
Sorry, which screen?
Yeah, well, it's got the little. I'll move mine over to. Can you still see it or no?
Oh no, Clarion's just gone now. We was looking at it.
Oh yeah. I moved to another screen. Okay. Let's close this and go to the embed points for the OK button, right?
No, I'd cancel that. And let's just go. I will take a look at all embeds.
Oh, all embeds. Okay. So we'll go. I've got this.
We're not seeing the. It looks like you're hovering over the title, but we're not seeing another window there.
Yeah, I got all these little sharing windows for the Go webinar showing on my screen, and it's kind of messing me up a little bit.
Right. Let's explain, because you're hovering over the title bar, if you will, but we're not seeing any other things.
I'm trying to get. Okay, now I got rid of that. Okay, so do you see the screen now?
We can see the screen. We can see like a Clarion update. So if you cancel that window and let's look at the embeds.
Okay. And you want me to go to which?
Let's have a look at the filled. Let's just
Okay.
see where they are. Oh no, sorry, not that. Sorry, cancel that one.
Cancel. Okay.
And just the filter at the top. There. Yep, up about an inch, and then to the left about an inch. Oh, sorry, no, that's where the thing is. It's where the on the toolbar, and you've got the cut, copy, and paste, and it's the fourth option from the paste.
Oh, right.
Left, one more.
Priority table?
No, one more to the left.
Here?
Nope,
Oh,
left.
one more here.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got select a okie dokie. End time, yes. Scroll down, just having a. They look kind of normal to me, but okay, yeah. Oh, just 1 second. Okay, go back into the window. Properties.
Okay, go properties, window. Okay.
Yeah. The button, the color button. Just go and highlight the color button.
This button?
Yeah. Now, let's have a look at the properties on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Okay. Now scroll down and show me the required. That button doesn't have required on it, does it?
No.
Because I've seen that in the past where a button actually has a required, and of course you can never set it to true, so you can never get it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I even checked all the. I mean, I compared the code against your demo, and I looked just about everywhere, and I couldn't find where there may be a discrepancy.
Instead of going to TXA, what about if we? Oh, are you using the same dictionary?
No.
So you wouldn't be able to import.
Yeah.
How did the TXA work then? Did you have to marry it back up to the different fields?
No, because I already imported the dictionary fields from your dictionary.
Okay, so we could actually import from the application. We could just import procedure rather than import TXA.
Okay.
I'm just because there's nothing on there which should make it bounce to that button. There's no code. We've just seen the button, the code under your OK button.
Right.
As a test, just disable that button, please,
Okay.
and compile and run.
I think this actually works, by the way, when you disable this.
It really is like it's almost like I said the required. There's no other templates on there which could change its attributes, is there?
Yeah.
Is there any third parties, like for modifying properties at runtime, that kind of thing?
Right.
Switching back to all compiling and just.
Yeah.
do suspect though that it's linked to the importing. Just had a quick look at the code here on mine, and there's no reason why that should be going to that color button.
Yeah, and it's very, very odd. Yeah, it does take a bit to compile. I don't know why. But...
We're all waiting with bated breath.
Yeah, I know, right?
While we're just in that, I will just quickly just notice Bill. So we're just waiting. You shout up as soon as that is compiled.
Oh, all right, sure.
And notice Bill is online. Bill, are you there? No. Well, it was just a quick update. 'Cause I think you missed it earlier. We were talking about template being released, and nothing. You've not missed any releases, but the G security, which I believe you have got a license to, and you're just waiting for it, will be imminent. As in, it will be probably a couple of weeks, but it is going into the applications as we speak now. So it's actually being fine tuned in an application. So it will go into beta within the next couple of weeks. That's the main thing.
No chance of no chance of next Monday.
Not out the realm. It's not out of the realms of possibility. If you want the truth, I don't think I'll have an installer built and so on, but it will be the application it's going in needs to be out this week, so it will be done from a beta point of view by next Monday. Yes. And the beauty of the beauty of it at the moment is the application it's being built in is a legacy app, and I believe your solution's a legacy solution. Of course, it'll be ABC and legacy compatible. Take that as read.
Yeah, no, I'm hopefully by next Monday I'll be at a point where I'll actually start needing that. So.
Oh well, yeah, okay. We probably get a zip to you, and
even if it's just a good beta, would be helpful.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's work for that. And even if it's just in the Monday webinar, I'll take you through. Okay, we basically want to add some users, add some user groups. So yeah, security groups, some security users, and some tasks. And then you can assign your different users to different groups and so on, and your tasks to whatever you want the task to be. So the task could be.
Yeah, I kind of remember when I actually beta tested it for Gaetano when originally, and then but I never did use it because it never got finished up,
Well, in truth, the only thing, it's a bit like when I took the G-Calc, the only thing which really remained from the original G-Calc to our G-Calc was the name and a couple of template prompts, and that's really all what's going to come across this time. In fact, not even the template prompts. Oh no, I will make all the old template prompts backwards compatible. I'll just have to dig out the original.
Well,
But
Yeah, I never did use it for anything. I just, I looked at it and then it wasn't really in a place where I was going to use it. But then our new version, I'm wanting to put it in there, and I've had a lot of different requests, and I can see that's an easy one to be able to add something to once it's in place.
well, the principles behind it is, you set up your security groups, you set up your users, obviously, you set up your tasks, and then you assign different users to different groups. And if a user is in two groups at the same time, and one group does have access to a particular option and one group doesn't, then you've got a global property to say what you want the default strategy to be there. Do you want to take the lowest and basically restrict? If you restricted from one, you restricted from both, or if you are, or take the highest and you're allowed in one, so of course you must be allowed to access it because you're part of two groups and one of the groups can access it. So you've got some more advanced topics, but at the most basic level, it's very simple. You put users in some groups, and when it comes to looking at the security of access to a window or the contents of a window and so on and so forth, different elements within that window, then it will take the security at the group level and then override it with the security if there's available at a user level. So you can say this group is available to, this group can access such and such an option except for this user, or this group can't access it except for this user, or they can go in but this user can't press buttons A, B and C, that type of thing. So it's really flexible. It sounds very complicated, but I've done it really simple.
Yeah, no, I remember from way back when it was actually pretty neat, because I think it even generated the all the procedures and everything too, didn't it?
I can't remember if you truth be told on that. And what we've done here is it adds an extension to each of the things, and all automatically, and then when you're in there, you can go off and do stuff. I was toying with the idea of having a default strategy of allow or restrict, but it's just going to go with allow for default.
Well, sure.
So, but we'll show you next week, and if it needs tweaking, then that'll be a really good beta, because that'll be the initial feedback for it. So yeah,
sounds great. Yeah, I appreciate you thinking of me on that.
I knew it was one of the things you touched upon. So yeah, no, that any beta would be ideally received. Just seeing Frank has just said.
I mean, that tree that's way more important than the tree or any of that stuff. The tree, I just wanted to see how it functioned, really.
Yeah, I apologise at the start. We're clearing a bit of backlog on some application stuff, and that's just
that wasn't
slowing us down.
That wasn't important at all, to be honest. But the security thing really kind of is.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you thinking of me on that.
Oh no problem. It's I know you're actively waiting for it, so yeah, so it is going into an application, as we speak. So yeah, we'll take it from Monday and knock it around there if it needs be.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okie dokie. And Steve, Mark, is that still compiling?
It's almost done. Yeah. Once I added a template called Log Flash, which does all audit logging, and when I added that template, which is it's a great template. It really works perfectly. It really increased the amount of time that it takes to compile.
Right. I didn't know that it hung, I'll be honest. So, okay. Well, I'm just going to pinch. I'm going to pinch Frank's brains actually. While you do that, it's an English phrase. So yeah, you shout up as soon as that's done.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask Frank if you're available. And you've got
hi.
Hi. You've got a mic. Brilliant. Yes. So you've used the old GSEC before then, I take it. So
yeah, for years, I loved it. I used GCalc and all that stuff, but GSEC, it had a nice utility in it where it actually generated a like an unlock code.
That wasn't GSEC, that was greg. There was,
G-Reg.
yeah, there was a thing.
I use GSEC also, by the way. I
Right.
use them both, but I guess I got it mixed up because I stopped using it because after Windows XP, Windows stopped allowing you to write to the Windows folder, and the Reg required writing to the folder, and he was out of business by then, and there was nothing, so I had to actually cut out all the G-Reg out of my.
I think it
same
might have been
time.
Polar Systems. Timo got G-Reg. Basically, the products went all separate ways. We got G-Calc, LGP, and which is going to be re-released as G-Visuals. But we got LGP, G-Calc, and GSEC. G-Calc
Okay.
obviously got re-released. G-Visuals internally has been used, but not released. And GSEC is, or G-Security, is at its full makeover. So if you've got any good experience of it, and you say, oh, you used to love this feature or that feature, then what I don't want to do is lose any features out of it. It's supposed to be a replacement. So if you've got any tips on that, feel free to drop on an email to me, and I'll make sure.
Yeah, I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, definitely, please.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, one of the reasons about coming back here was I was trying to upgrade my 6.3 apps to either 10 or 11, and the date picker, the G-Calc, wouldn't work, so I had to cut it out of all my, and I had like
that was
30 date picker
G-Calendar.
screens, and it wouldn't the template wouldn't work in 10 or 11, so
no, that was G-Cal. That wasn't G-Calc. That was G-Cal. And Timo definitely got that one.
G-Cal.
I know, yeah. One calculator, one calendar.
Just way too many G's.
But yes, basically, Timo definitely got G-Cal. I don't know, and G Notes as well. Don't know if he did much with them. It's not really something I've really.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even bother with it. The thing is, I'm going to use your date picker.
Yeah, we're going to say you've got the thing. I would personally, and that's not knocking the others, but if you want to future-proof yourself, I would just drop the calendar global extension in, and then you've got a date picker button, a date lookup, sorry, not date picker, date lookup button, which uses the date picker interface, but it's just dropping a button onto a window, and you say what mode you want it to work in and where do you want it to put the answer.
Yeah, it was real easy. I mean, but just bringing all those procedures over, you have 300 procedures or whatever, you're not going to bring that many over, but you forget where all the places where you got a date picker, just like, oh man, here's another one, it's just like, oh, why did this go out of business here? But that's part of the problem with like Bruce always tells you, don't the further you put something off, the harder it is going to be.
Yeah, some truth in it, to be fair.
So
no, well, we're it's still the calendar product is still very much a touchwood an active product, and it's not going anywhere soon. So you'll be fine with using the calendar.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. I just wanted to let you know about that. So I got my product.
Any tips or notes or good and bad experiences of the old one, let me know, and then I can take a look.
All right.
Cool. Okay, so let's see how Mark is doing.
Yeah, I got access denied after compile to try to run. Sometimes.
Do you know, I have an idea. Do you want to send me the TXA and I'll attempt to import it into my example here and see if we get the same. While we're waiting for yours to compile and so on, if you send me the TXA that you actually used, I could try it and see if I experience the same issue.
Oh yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I was just looking to see why it wouldn't execute, because sometimes if you run lately a Clarion app and it's executing and you exit it, it never really exits the processes. So it thinks it's there to see there's still one running here that I exited earlier. So we'll just end this task
That
And
suggests there's a different thread running, and it's
yeah,
finished its work.
so now we'll just go to Calendar Pro. So this would be the version that I just compiled. No, this actually, no, it didn't finish. It's still.
I was going to say, yeah, if yeah,
It
that's
would have
still
been
enabled.
disabled, yeah. Let me. Yeah, there it's disabled now. Now it's stuck on busy status free.
No, okay, that's.
Yeah, something in the.
Let's get that. Let's get the TXA across. I think it's something that's screwed up during the.
Yeah. So I can just. You want me to just zip that up and email that to you?
Yeah, please. Is there any way you could do it now, and then we'll try it live over here?
Oh, sure. So cancel.
While you're doing that, I'll put myself back to presenter, and let's take a look. There we go.
So we'll go to Calendar Pro.
Okay, so while you're doing that, just have a look if there's anything on like a normal accept loop which would be causing that. No, just normal event.
So we have the events update TXA is right here.
Well, I've just brought the presenter back to me, so you just fire it across, zip it up, and fire it back to me, and then what we'll do is I'll take a copy of ours. And we'll call it Orig.
Copy. So I'll just email that out to you, right?
Okay, please.
Okay.
Get that open.
File. Okay, I just sent that off to you.
Okay. Okay, so I've got that. Okay, so I should be able to import. That's you one that you just sent me across.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Sorry, it won't be a second. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, yours is working.
Okay, you've got the sample app
Right.
and it works in the sample app, and that's where you
Yep.
cut the TXA from.
Yeah.
Okay, the difference between your app and there, is there any third-party templates in yours? You said about Logflash. I'm not saying it's Logflash, by the way, not in the slightest. What I'm saying is there any other third parties which could manipulate basically the update form at runtime? So it's going to be putting code in there. There's evidently something which is causing it to, let's see, it's incomplete or along those lines, and then making it focus back to the next control, because we disabled the color one, and of course you ended up then getting the busy status, or was it reminder? I'll soon tell you. Let's have a look at where that is. Yeah, it was a busy status. Of course, that's a prompt, so you skip that. So you've got some other code in your application, which is basically, it really reminds me of the I don't know if we can do it here. Let's try it. Where you can put a prop required on a button. It always gets me that you can do this. No, that's not right. I know one of the age-old things you could do is put a prop required on the OK button, and it'd never let you press OK because it would immediately bounce itself back to the OK button, and that's really what it reminds me of in your system. But I hate to say it's going to be something at runtime, because the same TXA coming into. Okay, this is my test app, but I could knock together another app, bring in that same TXA, and I'm pretty confident it would work. So it's something else you've got in there, which is doing something like an incomplete, or selecting a different control and cycling. I'd have a look in your generator code to start with, see if you see any blatant cycle commands. Failing that, start disabling the extensions one by one.
Right. Oh yeah, I could do that. I could work it two ways. One is I could look at what I could take and put calendar in first and then follow up with code, but I'll take your advice and look at, because there's 7 templates prior to putting in Calendar Pro that all, one of them may obviously
I'd be intrigued. I've never seen that before, except for, like I say, I think, let's see if we can actually recreate it. I mean, might have been an older version of Clarion where you could do this, but you could have default button, you press the required on the OK, and I think even when you the template, the actual Clarion template used to add that by default. Did that compile? Let's just do a cleanup and make sure it did compile. And it would give you like what you're seeing, except you wouldn't go off and choose a different control. It would just keep reselecting the OK button, so you could never actually save a record. Now that might have been older version of Clarion. Let's just take a look here. Yeah, so it's got to be an older one. It's fixed now, but you used to be able to do that, and I could never understand why, and why you want it required on a button anyway, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. I think that I feel that we've made some progress, at least troubleshooting it, that it's definitely something in a template that is affecting it.
I think so. I'd have a look in the generator code, look for something like a cycle, which I know I've got in there. So I've got one there, which I would expect, and there, because that's my error checking. That's just a try validate field. Oh, okay, yeah. That's if you've got validation on certain fields and so on. That's really it. So I'd have a look if there's anything, one of those via some third-party code. Try disabling that, and really just taking a step back, one step at a time, until you find the culprit. But do let me know, because I would actually be intrigued, to be honest, and it's good experience as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Andy. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
Okay.
So, okie dokie. So, questions. Bill, Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, good. You all right?
Yes, fine, thank you.
Good, good.
Right.
Yeah, I just didn't know whether we'd be able to go through this QuickBooks thing. I don't think now because it's quite late, isn't it?
Well, let's have a quick. This is to do with posting a sales transaction, was it not?
That's it. Yeah, I sent you about 5 records from the actual file that I showed you.
We might not have time to do the thing, but let's just take you through. Basically, we'll create a dummy button. I can always send this app to you afterwards, you see. So,
Yeah.
really, I've just got a compile of that. It won't be a second. Won't be a second.
All right.
Thanks again, Indy. I gotta run. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And like I say, keep us posted on what you find.
All right, well.
Won't be a sec, Steve.
Okay, mate.
Okay, so for those who don't know what we're talking about, there's a QuickBooks. I'm just going to quickly get a connection. Here we go. Yes. All good. I'll get a login. And it was really to do with the requirement you've got, and jumping if I'm wrong, is you've got to take some data from an external source and post it to QuickBooks as individual sales invoices.
Yeah.
That correct? Okay. Yeah, that was me with the timing. Sorry about that. Let me just do that again. Things going really slow on my other screen. So let's just get this. I desperately need to dig out the setting for 30 seconds. It's far too keen. So we've got sales invoices. I think we've got some in there already. Now what we want to do, and I'm going to blatantly just copy something out of here. So any of these will do. Here's a Noyantis one. I'm going to add a button to here to help you out to start with, which will be basically dummy invoice. And what it will do is it will post a brand new invoice with maybe some content like this. So we use that as a starting point. Then don't think yours will necessarily go in as what you call a sales item line. I think it'll go in as a description only line. But let's get that bit going first. Does that sound like a plan?
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to just item reference 3, rather than me go and download all these and so on and so forth. You would need, you see this is a link to sales item. I'm just going to take some notes here. So item 3, what else do we need? I'm going to have quantity 1, no discount, nothing, tax 3. That 3 is the internal code. Everyone know what I mean by that? The record, no, okay. So that's going against an item 3. It's going against a tax code of 3. We go out of here, go across to, I haven't got it in here. Let's take a quick look here. Remember it's tax rate or tax rates. So tax rate. So here we will have somewhere ID 12, ID 7. You don't have to do it this way, by the way. The class already has a tax rate download for you with all the structure already created, so you don't have to get your hands dirty at this level. It's just that the example app doesn't have it in, or this version of the example app doesn't have it in.
Okay.
So you wouldn't have to do this, but basically we'll talk about this ID here. So
Okay.
the one's coming down, and it was a tax rate of 3. I think yours will go. Yours will be going up as basically like a standard description, if you will, rather than tied against a particular item.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so I'm just after that 1200. So we're going to emulate posting against that, and we're also going to go against Noyantis test account, and Noyantis is 89, and that's the internal ID where all the linking is done.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to our Chillcat. No, QuickBooks. Sorry, that's what I meant. And we'll even put it on that tab. Easier when you come to it. So, new invoice. Okay. I'm going to actually just pinch some code off this because it'll be a good place to start. Okay, so the QuickBooks, update QuickBooks takes a few cues and instructions which are all predefined for you. So if I wanted to call this, and this is the update invoice, I need to pass it a group structure, which tells me about basically the invoice header, if you will. Any linked transactions, which is a queue of linked transactions, we're not going to have any. Queue of lines, we are going to have that. A queue of tax lines, we're not going to have that. And the actions. Okay, so we're going to free up our queues like so. We're not going to call that, and we're going to start populating our LG invoice. So just let me get that structure local here now, NYSCK task. Invoice light, sorry, I'm just checking. I've got my finger, yeah, invoice there, that's fine. This will look crazy to start with, it won't be. So this is the header group. I'm not going to need lots of this. I'm not going to need that. I'm not bothered about custom fields. I will give it a document number. Not quite sure what. I think I'm going to call it invoice and a random number, something like that. Clock. There you go. Transaction date. That wants to be today's date, but it's going to want to be in a special format. So I'm going to put myself a quick reminder there for that. Not bothered about those. We will put a note on it. Test for Steve. Okay, this is at the header level.
Yeah.
Tax code. Don't think we put any. Just let me go back in. It's just easier. I'll go back in and remind myself here. Do you know what I'm going to actually? Oh yeah. Just so you can see what I'm doing. We'll bring that down. Now, I didn't really put anything at this level, so that's fine. But I'll keep that open. I'll drag it over there. Oh, I'll put it there so we can keep going back to it. So not bothered about those. No total tax.
And if you've got to move the car, 2 seconds.
Yeah,
all right?
Okay. I'm going to plod on with this so you'll see.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. We will want those. Not bothered about any of those. In fact, I'm just going to get rid. Same with the shipping. Not bothered about that. All that. The due date we will do. So all I'm really doing here is priming up the group structure, if you will. Okay. Just going to go see. I think on that prime we didn't really do much. Oh, not sorry, wrong one. They're the main fields which we would be interested in. And on the OK, we would have set them on the way out. Oh, sorry, wrong one. So here's a quick, I've got the chill cat on here, obviously. The global class is called Chillcat Global. So on here, we do want a customer reference. I thought we would. Oh, wrong one. And really, the value wants to be, and it's whatever the ID is. Now, I've kept a copy, and I know it's 89, which is the Noyantis test account. I can put a name against it. It's going to ignore it, but I'll put it. I'll just put that as a name there, but it's going to ignore that. That's the main thing we're after. This will link the transaction to the customer account 89. Okay. Memo, we're not bothered about the memo value. We're not really bothered about the class. We did set a date. We can see up here. We'll put a note on it. So the date, we can use today's date, but it wants it in the format. It wants it in UTC format. So what you've got at your disposal is the Chillcat Global class, which we've already got added. And on here, we've got a calc UTC from date time. So I'll pass it today's date. There is no time, so I'm not going to bother passing it a time, and that will calculate a UTC date format for me for today's date. Document number. Okay, so yeah, we're just setting various parts of this group header. So I'll set a document number. Some wording with a random number. The date, it's a C string. It wants it in UTC format, which is the Chillcat standard, the QuickBooks standard. It's basically more or less the common standard. So you've got any one of our classes, because they're all derived from our common class. You've got the ability to call a method called calc UTC from date time, and that will calculate basically it will format it for you. We've got a note, which we've got here. Not bothered about the tax code, I don't think. Nope, not bothered about that. And the total tax, I am going to put that in. I think on our running sample, did we have a total? We had a total amount. Oh. Maybe I didn't. Okay. No, we didn't. Thought we did. I've linked it to the customer account 89. I am going to give it a due date of today plus 7. Okay, so we'll say something like that. Again, it wants it in UTC, so I'm going to say it's today plus 7 days, so it's due in 7 days' time. Kind of really not a million miles off. The total amount I will set, I think it's auto calculated for us, but we're going to do it as 1200 plus 220 tax, so it's going to be 1440. And not going to override those. So basically, what I've done there is just prime up an invoice header. I'm going to do the same for a line now. Okay, so I'm going to clear my LQ invoice lines. Let's get the structure and see what I need. That will cheat. Just going to rob it out of here. Okay, so what am I going to want? Bear in mind this is going in as a sales line to start with.
Okay.
In fact, service date equals, and it's going to be today. Do I have to pass it? No, I'm going to say I don't have to pass it a time. I've got 0 on there, but I don't think I have to pass it a time. The item reference, I made a note a minute ago. The item was free. So just like our customer code there is 89, we're going to say our item reference there is free. I could put anything in here in this because it's really for downloading. It's going to ignore that. Class, I'm not really bothered about the class. I'll comment that. Description can be Noyantis templates. Sales unit price 1200. Quantity of 1. No discount. No discount. Tax code, I think we said was free. Yep, tax code was free. I was just looking at my thing before. Again, the name, just totally irrelevant. The total amount of that would be 1200. And tax inclusive, I think we'll put that to true. And we'll do an add. We'll quickly test that. So what we've done, we'll check it, make sure it's working, but we've primed up a header group. We've primed up a line. It's currently linked, it's a sales item type line. Okay. So there is actually, I think I do need to set that somewhere. Yeah, I think I do need to set the line type. Won't be a second. Yeah, detail type. You do need to do that. That's what I was thinking. I'm going very quick here. I will cover it slowly in a second for you. So if you're thinking, crikey, Andy, slow down, slow down. We will cover it a little slower in a minute. Actually, the ID won't really matter. So we've primed up a header, we've primed up a line, a sales line. We're going to call our QuickBooks update invoice method. If that works, great, and if it doesn't, we'll get an error. So let's just try that. While we're trying that, on the other window, I'm going to go on to the QuickBooks test account so I can see it on there. I'll bring it into view in a second. Okay, so here's the Sandbox company. Let's just bring that a little bit, that's a little smaller. We should be able to go to our sales. It's all presuming this works, of course. Customers. We're going to go against the Noyantis update 4, I think it was, something like that. Yeah, that one. So we're going to see against here. Okay. So let's try that. What have I missed? Oh, never give it. That's rushing. Never give random any. Oh, do you know what? There you go. So what we're hoping to do here is we'll have our invoices. Okay. Now, what don't it like? ID should be a valid number. Okay, that's fair enough. There was some code which got me the highest ID actually.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. How do you know what ID to use?
Let me have a quick look. Oh, it's literally just a line number for that. So we'll be fine. Okie dokie. Bum, 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 bum. Invoices. Success. Okay, that's nice. Let's have a look at our QuickBooks. We now have two.
Cool.
Invoice with a random number. We use them same values. Okay, so I blatantly cheated. And if we have a look at that invoice itself, we can see there it is. I put it against a particular item. We already knew the item number was 3, so that's why I chose that. Okay, with a description of that rate, so on and so forth. There's it. There's your transaction. With a due date, where are we? Got our dates? Yeah, invoice date of today, due date of 7 days time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gets it in. Now you would want to do basically. So for those who, we did go quite fast actually. So let's just take a step back and have a quick look at what we did. Keep that open. Sorry, not that one. We'll do some tidy up. You can see all the other parameters you would want. Won't be a second. Just 1 second. Sorry about that. Just someone offering me a cup of tea and I'm not going to turn that down. But yes, basically, you've got a whole host of different properties if you would, which will control both the overall invoice header and the invoice lines. Now, of course, they are at their particular level. So we've got our invoice header group and we've got our lines queue. So we can see some of the other properties which we could have done is we could have chose a different currency for this, as long as all your currencies are turned on and so on and so forth. But you do have, sorry, I meant to be in there. Okay, that example hasn't got the currencies. This is an old example because I've done work on this. So we've got currencies and you've got tax rates. So this is just an old example. But again, the currencies can be downloaded into a queue, so on and so forth. But yes, you'd set them in the likes of the value. The name is kind of meaningless. We added a thing there called dummy item. It never takes that name. It's part of its download information to tell you what item number 3 would be. So we can see that number 3 in that line, which we saw a minute ago, is, I think it was service or something like that. Yeah, general services catering. So that's item 3. Okay. Now, so the value, the name part of it is irrelevant. We can get rid of that, which means we can get rid of the one up here, where I said customer reference, Noyantis. Doesn't matter. If you were downloading, you want to interrogate the name and the item number and the value. But for an upload, we only really need to set the value. The name is irrelevant. So always work on where you see these pairs where you'll see a value and a name pair, and there's lots of them in the structures. You only ever need to uploading, you only have to work with the value part, not the name part. We'll get rid of those, but we could have chose a different currency should we have wanted to, and give it an exchange rate, and it would have placed it in a different exchange rate, different currency, sorry. So we've primed up our header, and I'll make you a little note here, set header. Then we've done our lines, so we could do add lines. Now we could have put 2 lines in here if we'd have liked. Okay. Again, we'll come to that detail type. We could have put 2 lines in here if we wanted to, and obviously done the values accordingly. I think for your example, Steve, you don't need to. You are just reading in one line. It's a CSV, isn't it? So it's a CSV. If you don't mind me disclosing this, it's not top secret. It's just you've got to import a few transactions, and each transaction is just a line on a CSV. Is that correct?
So shall I just, yeah, it is. So I'll just run through a loop for that, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Basically, create yourself a little dummy file in your dictionary with a type of, is it basic? Data type of basic, something like that. And just open it and do a set key or just a set on it and next through it until you get an error code, and that will give you, you'll be reading them in. Obviously your structure wants to match your structure of your the CSV file, but that's really simple. In fact, ask me tomorrow. I mean, you could do that. I think my Noyantis Utils, but I don't want to upset anything else, but my Noyantis Utils has a CSV to queue, and it'll read a CSV in and populate a queue for you automatically, so you don't even have to declare anything.
You mentioned that training, I think.
Yeah, I think, yes. So yeah, I will check that for you tomorrow, but I think it's got that built in.
Okay.
Jester.
But
that's my tea, yep, in my Game of Thrones mug, of course. So yes, basically what you would do if you had multiples, well, you haven't, but if you had multiple lines, you'd just have another structure there, another clear, set the contents and then add. So you'd add 2 items to the queue and call it accordingly. Now, the only thing we've got in here, going to bring in the help, and we'll see if we can do something slightly different. In fact, we won't do the help. We'll cheat. We'll look at our own class. We're calling update invoice. Let's bring that in. Okay. So forget any of this. You don't really have to get your hands dirty. We've put in our code that we want it to go in as a sales item line detail, which means I'm going to read these types of data, the sales item. Okay.
Yeah.
But you would need to know the item number. Now they also allow you, and you can see here for the sales item line detail, it sets various different elements in the JSON what gets posted to QuickBooks. Forget the group line. You can have a description line detail. I don't know if that will allow you to put a value. Oh, it does. does allow you to put in value. So let's try that instead. Okay, in for a penny, in for a pound, as they say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment out those where it starts sales item. And I'm going to put it to a different type instead. I'm going to say, okay, it's not a sales item line detail, it's a description line detail. You can still have a service date apparently. Okay, so we'll take that service date should you want it. So you can see here that instead of me calling it sales item, like the other one, I've called the field description only and the field. So I'll try to make it nice and simple for you to follow. And we've got a, oh no, that's not good because it's tax code. Sorry, that's not the right one then. Not description. Just looking in the class to see where we set the value. Do you know what? Let's still try it. Sack it, let's try it. Got the line number set, got the description, the detail type, got a description, service date. We have got a line amount in there. We don't want that. So we'll just go for 1200. Okay, now I think we might have to change our overall total here because there'll be no tax on it. Do you know if you need to record the tax?
He more than likely will, yeah.
Well, chances are then you actually want that item. You want the first example, but the code's in there. Not, you know, we've not removed anything. Chances are you want that first one. You might be able to get away with the description and still put tax on it. Actually, we'll have a look in a second. Invoice, new. Unsupported property detail. Due to that, not one of the declared enums. Payment, tax line account, sales order. Description only. Sorry, it wants to be description only. Oh. That's interesting then. That might need a change. Can we remember what that? To see that error again. Okay. I'll look at that account. Okay. Totally different thing there, but no value. Why have we got no value? I haven't taken the value because it doesn't see it as a sales line. It's put a description only on, which is kind of does what it says on the tin, if you will. You're going to have to put it against a sales line. So it's going to be the first one for you. But we'll leave that in case you need to put any description lines on there as well. You know, if he sent you some text to put on the invoices. So you could have a combination of both of those. For example, we'll put the first one back in and we'll have the other one as a second. So you'd have to do a download. We'd have to find the item reference that you want things to go against. Yeah, within his chart of accounts and that, not chart of accounts, his products, if you will. Okay,
Yeah.
so but putting that aside, I'm going to put this in. Forget that. Forget that. I'm going to put this in as R. Available. Okay, so we're going to put a sales line in with a description, with a description. Okay, so there's 3 lines going on that invoice. Oh, don't say I closed it. I did. What an idiot. Right, 1 second. Okay, here's what I prepared earlier. Just find it easier to go via the customer. I could have put an invoice number order, of course, but if I just go via the customer, you can see our last one there. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Noyantis templates are available.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can fire that example app across to you.
Thank you.
So the only thing you would really need to know there is the customer ID, which you're probably going to have cross-referenced. What I would do there is within your system, download the customers, do some kind of mapping so you know that in your system you have an account called NYS, and in their system it's called whatever, but internally it's that. You need to link it against 89. So you just need to store that ID in your customer table.
Okay.
And then so that would be one. Which is there. And the other one would be your sales item reference. And the best thing to do that is to oh crikey, there'll be it'll be their product. I'll have to get you the name of the table, and you'll just be able to query what it is. Just get him to create a new within his QuickBooks. I've still got it open. I've closed it again. But within QuickBooks, create a product called services, unless of course he already has them, which chance I might have, and just will query and get the particular entity and just have your IDs against what you want to write them against.
Okay.
Yeah, so it really is a case of reading out your CSV and doing that code, which I'll send you in that app, and that's it really.
Thanks, Andy. I'll give it a go.
Okay, no problem. Okay, we've got about 10 minutes. Michael. Oh, Michael's been waiting. We're playing a lot of catch up, as you can well imagine. Where's Michael? Michael. Hi, Michael.
Hello, Andy. How are you?
Yes, fine, thank you. Yourself?
Yes, fine. I have only one question.
Okay,
because
yes.
I sent an application in English to check if you have the time.
Yes, and I will look at it. Again, apologies.
Okay.
Don't think I'm ignoring. I would never do that. It's just we are firefighting. That's all. We just
yes.
Okay, thank you. Catching up on the back.
I have only one question. When I try to insert an appointment in 8 in morning, it not allows me because the time status only in 8, not other time.
Have we got time status on this? I can't remember if we have or we haven't. If we have, it'll be probably on schedules.
The beginning of the day, the first minute of the day.
Okay, your time status. What's the time status you've got? What's the time status? Do you have a time status running up until 8 a.m.?
Yes. And not allowed to insert in only in 8.
Okay, I've got an idea. Yeah, I think I know what that is. Let me have a quick look. Okay, we've got some working hours on here.
Yes.
I'm going to see if I can recreate your issue there. So we go across. Yeah, we've got that. Day is 9 until 5:30. We'll have 8, like you said, on yours, okay? And I'm gonna turn on the time status. Okay. So before that, not allowed. Oh, I was hoping that would fail as well.
In my application, not allow. Only in 8. If I have a time 8 to 01, it allows me.
Okay, what I was going to say is on the time status, because I thought, are you running the latest version of the template?
Yes.
What version? I'm wondering if I fixed it in mine. There was an issue on the rounding. I'm on 410. You won't be on 410.
For 1 moment.
Now we feel the equates. There was an issue on rounding, and I'm wondering whether it's that.
No, I have 49.
Okay, don't know when I've. Okay, on yours, instead of 8, set it to 7:59. Okay, I think there was an issue on the rounding, and try that, and I think that'll work. Your colorings will still be fine from your time status. It'll still say 8. Yep. So your coloring's still fine, but your 8 should work. Now I've got the later version which I fixed it in, but on yours set it to 7:59, and I think you'll be okay. If it's a variable,
I'll try.
If it's a variable, take 6,000 off the variable.
Okay, I download. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, and then, although we are nearly out of time, Roberto was here. Where's Roberto? Yep. Hi, Roberto.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I just about went to sleep. Oh, no.
Okay, you're allowed.
Okay.
We had lots to cover.
All right. I don't know if you can tackle this in 7 minutes, or 5, I guess was what we got left. But we've got our app working with John, connecting the OAuth with the NetTalk part.
I remember, yes, but you needed to insert
because we needed inside the window, inside the app, anyways. I couldn't get. Anyways, we got that working, and then I'm using your classes and JSON classes with the Chillcat to, read in the data, because you already did all that work. So I'm like, I'm not gonna.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, I'm not. Might as well take advantage of that. But everything works okay on the test sites, but we can't get it to work on the
Production.
Production, yeah, because obviously it needs an HTTPS, and that's where we're kind of stuck. And so I don't know what to.
If you've got it working, let me switch back to the other then. Let's go back to that Chillcat.
So it does connect, but then I don't know. It says something about the.
Okay.
Well,
in your you've not got Sandbox turned on.
Well, we're not using the OAuth from Chillcat. We're using the OAuth from NetTalk.
Okay.
So it uses a different site, right? It doesn't use the sandbox dot intuit dot site. It
That's
just
right. Yeah,
uses
it goes to a different site.
right. And so when you try to log in, then it doesn't work because it wants to come back to an HTTP. It says it needs to come back to an HTTPS, and we're doing it from a local machine.
You'd have to
So
bounce it off some kind of redirect script.
right.
There's no other
Is
way
there
around it.
your redirector script there, the OAuth2.php,
Yep.
is always redirecting to 3017?
3017. Yeah.
There's no way you can redirect it to some other site, or how do you do that? Do we have to have some kind of a web server?
Yeah.
Uh,
Because
can
it
we
has to
use
be
a NetTalk?
HTTPS.
Right, but can we use just a little NetTalk web server on our machine, which
Yeah,
it
of
bounces
course.
off
Yeah.
locally? If we make a little subdomain, an HTTPS subdomain.
Yeah. You could use that with Let's Encrypt, which would give you your certification for your
Uh-huh.
HTTPS, and that would receive the full token and so on and so
Packet.
forth. Yeah, from QuickBooks.
And what do I do with it once I got it?
Well, then you want to bounce it onto localhost, onto whatever that. Oh, because you're not using that. Well, how are you doing it after? How are you letting the Chillcat class know that you're connected and so on?
I'm not. I'm just using the Chillcat class to do the JSON. I just do that. I just receive the JSON and I copy it and I just tell JSON class, okay, here's the JSON file that I received. But I do the select statements with the, just the normal post select, and it brings me back the information.
No, if oh, crikey.
And so, that's the way I send it to the JSON class, the Chillcat JSON class. I just said, here's the, here's the JSON file. Do what you will with it. And it puts it into the queue.
No, I get that. But currently, you're getting that on localhost.
Yes,
via the sandbox.
exactly. And it works, yes, and it works just fine with the sandbox.
Yeah, but
at the moment that I want to connect, not using the sand, just using the production site, which is a different URL.
You have to go off to an HTTPS.
Right. And so I need a web server?
Yep, you could have a web server and then bounce that onto localhost.
Okay. What would be the easiest? Just to set up a little web server and bounce it back? But it has to bounce back to that port? Or can I bounce it back to port 8 to 443? Or what's localhost?
You can bounce it to any port you like. I have it going there because when the Chillcat OAuth starts to wait, you tell it what port number you want to wait on.
Okay, so it's the Chillcat is reading some kind of HTTP posts. Is that what I understand then?
No. What happens? You prepare the OAuth2 object.
Uh-huh.
You tell it it's going what it's going to, so it's going off to QuickBooks and so on and so forth. You tell it the port number to listen on. You tell it the URL, as I say.
I guess that's where we're kind of missing, because on the NetTalk one, there is no place to put a port to listen to back. It just kind of, I don't know what it uses, but it's just probably port 80 or whatever. It doesn't really listen back on a port. Or I'm not sure how
ultimately it must do, because it's listening in the first place to answer web requests. So it's a web server. Is it your NetTalk going out?
Yeah.
Right. No, the then it's going to be a little awkward because you're going to have part of the task going out and part of the task on a web server receiving the data.
Receiving it, right.
Yeah. And then
and then kind of redirecting it back to your local host on.
Yes. Oh, well, you know, because your other one's not listening on localhost. So your local host won't come into this. You'd have to have one connecting out, NetTalk connecting out. I mean, this is really Bruce's area, to be honest. But yeah, one for the comms going out. QuickBooks does its connectivity, so on and so forth, and then it's going to redirect off to a site, but it has to be a HTTPS secure site if it's production keys and non-sandbox. So then what it goes to could be a NetTalk web server. You could receive that in. That'll give you your key and so on and so forth. But then you really want to be doing your comms. Well, it's up to you. You could pass that key across to your other the thing which initiated it. You could pass the key across there, and that will give you your auth tokens and so on and so forth, and off you work. So you could do it that way. Bit of a round robin, so to speak. So out from NetTalk object A, NetTalk object B is sat there listening just for comms, but you want it to not get any other web traffic. You only really want it to get the proper web traffic.
Yeah,
so
the really redirecting traffic. Yeah.
So you want it to be filtered. So CodeJock does its job, so on and so forth. Comes back, your NetTalk B object, which is listening, would receive it and get the data, and then it'd have to pass the token and the access token and the other thing, I forget what it is, across to the annual refresh token. There'd be 4 or 5 pieces of information in the realm. You pass them across back to NetTalk A and let that do its comms on using those details. But you're going to need 2 paths to it.
Right.
That's ultimately what's happening with the Chillcat. It's initializing an OAuth. It's then posting out using its own content, but it's posting out, going up to QuickBooks. QuickBooks is asking the questions, doing the authentication. But what it's done is it's put itself into listen mode, listening on localhost, and then we're going off to some kind of web server, bouncing off mine, but it could be your own, bouncing back to localhost. So the same OAuth object, as well as posting out, is actually listening straight afterwards, and that's why it's listening for so many seconds.
Right. Yeah.
You would want to build all that into it. It would be a bit of work, I'll be honest with you. I'm not saying it can't be done, but you're going to have to get your hands dirty on a bit of it.
Right. So how far along are you to do the window, the internal window, yeah.
I'd be happy to throw some time at it during next Mondays.
We've
got questions in for next week so far, so we could put some time to it next Monday. I'd be happy to do that.
Okay. Let's
do that.
I'll be in Mexico, but I'll see if I can connect.
Well, still remind us, send the time, and I don't know if Bijan, because I think it was Bijan who's interested in this.
Bijan is on there. You can turn his mic on.
Where are we? Oh, he's got his hand up. Sorry, I didn't see. I sat back in my chair. He's saying, "Can I talk?" Of course you can. Sorry about that. He's saying you're self-muted. I've not muted you.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
There he is.
Oh yeah, I pressed that button a couple of times to see if I
Sorry,
can talk.
I was thinking. I sat back in my chair and didn't take the screen. Sorry.
We went down this path for 2 reasons. One was I have a customer that needs to use it immediately, and they are all on Macs. They're all using Macs, and so that was one. And then of course, when you're in the TS Plus environment, the part where you connect doesn't work for us because of the virtual desktop, and so
Yeah,
that,
so in that environment,
yeah,
and that's why we're going to look at doing it in
yeah.
one of
So I
our
mean,
own windows, maybe
exactly, and your product is working, exactly the way it should, because it's working with the production and also the sandbox, and we tested it, of course. But obviously, that for this purpose, we needed to use our own OAuth, and that part works okay for the production. I mean, for the sandbox, but not for production, obviously. So yeah, if you could, we can maybe next week take a look at it and see what we can do. Because you
Yeah.
probably need to add like the HTML editor.
We'd do it. What I consider, and this is what I consider rough and ready. We'd do it in a test app, just like for Steve here. We just added that button.
Right.
We'd do it in a rough and ready test app, prove the theory out, and then modify the template in class. But at that point, that'd be enough to get you guys at least going. And then I'd modify the template in the class to say, okay, do we allow the plugin? And the window uses the shell execute, or it uses the CodeJock web browser, or it uses the NBit editor in view only mode, that type of thing. So we then polish it off so it becomes a product for everybody, and so on. But first of all, we have to prove the theory, so we'll do that in a dev session like this. So even if Roberto's not, he's in Mexico, he's on holiday again. I don't believe it. He's always on holiday.
Every other one.
But yes, we'd try it in an app like this, probably the same application, to be honest. And instead of us doing the shell, I even know where the code is. I would have a go now, but while I'm still playing catch up, I've got another meeting to attend in 20 minutes, and I've got to prepare for it. Hence why I need to call time on it today. Otherwise, I would have done it now for you, because I'm happy to put plenty of hours in at the moment just to keep everybody happy. But I do need to attend the other meeting.
Oh yeah, I've got plenty of work to do. We're going to work on our synchronization, between the two systems, for the mapping. We still have to do that. We still have to do the invoice mapping, the invoice synchronization. So we can still work on the sandbox and do that part until next week, and then when you have time, we can work on it. Like I said, it would be a good product for everyone.
Be a nice little enhancement to it, yeah.
Yes, because the PS Plus is here. I mean, a lot of people use that, so I think it's going to be an issue for anyone that's using that virtual desktop like that.
I think it's really that. It's that call there, the shell execute, where we're going to have to really take that off and see, comment that and get it calling another editor, not editor, a viewer.
So we used the file explorer. Yeah, and it actually had a problem until last month, and then Bruce fixed it. So we got it to work with File Explorer, but obviously we can use mbits. We have mbits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just a matter because that is ultimately the problem on the terminal services, that you can't afford to do Shell Explorer.
Yes.
Yeah. So that really wants to be a call out to the other the other viewer. So no, I've got the plan of attack. It's literally been the timing.
All right.
So
sounds good.
Okay, until next week. Any other quick questions? I don't think there is. Steve, and thanks for the help. Appreciate it. Don't forget to send the app. I will send the app momentarily, so you'll have it in a few minutes, Steve. Because otherwise, me, I will actually forget. So no, we'll send that very shortly. Actually, Steve, if you're still there, are you on Skype? Is Steve there? Have I muted him? No, he's muted himself.
Yeah, I am still here. Yeah. Yeah, I do use Skype, but not very often. So
no, I'll tell you what. I'll zip it and email it. Yeah, I'll zip an email. That'll be better.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. I really better do that now then. So until next week, thank you everybody, and we shall see you next Monday, normal time, normal weekly occurrence, and so on. So see you then. Okay.
Right, thank you.
Thank you everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.